Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Study Baisy YouTube channel. Today we are going to have one of the biggest lesson that is the problem of every student. We are working on this lesson for the last 2 weeks, and still I haven't done it. Today's lesson is all about it is all about our conversation, how we pronounce something, how we say something. It is all about that one. If you want to improve your English, active voice and passive voice is actually what matters to you. It is all about voice. It is all about what you say. If you want to say better, you need to learn more about active and passive voice. In the last lesson, we went through the tenses. You know about tenses. We did the first, the present tenses, the past tenses, and the future tenses as well. So active voice is all about and is exactly what we have learned so far. It is all what the tenses we have learned, but the passive voice is a new thing that we haven't done yet, and it is the next version of the voice that we have done. So today we are going to cover all of the voices in one shoot. In one shoot we'll have each and everything, and you have to stay right here because it's a bit long lesson because it is Ramadan. So I hope so you will be here with your copy, pen and pencil, and we'll have one of the best session ever in your life. So without taking further time, I want to start the lesson. Firstly, I would like to ask for some, complimation, some help, some kind of aids. First thing I want to request is one subscribe from your side and one like as well, so that I could start it in a very best way. And one more thing that you can do is give it a share and share it with your friends on WhatsApp, on every platform you think you have, people who listen to you. Tell them that we are having a live session, and hopefully this session will be one of the best session. And after this lesson, I promise you that your problems in active voice and passive voice will be resolved, and there will be no problem in your voices. And if you do so, if you have some problem, if you still couldn't solve some of your confusions, you can contact me directly on WhatsApp. I have my number in the description. You can reach me, you can join my group over there, and you can ask me live questions in live sessions as well on WhatsApp. So let's get started without taking further time. Our first thing that we are going to learn is what is voices actually. So the voices refers to the form of a verb that indicates when a grammatical subject performs the action or is the receiver of the action. Two things are here. One thing is the performer and the next thing is receiver. So what we are talking about is the receiver. Passive voice is the receiver. To express feelings or emotions. If you want to show your feelings, emotions in English, you have to learn it in every way, in each way. Whatever way you could do, you have to learn this thing. So it is a form of a verb. That is, you have to keep in your mind. Two things will be discussed, if it will be a performer or it will be the receiver of the action. Let's learn more things. Now, we have the thing that is important is actually active voice. Now, active voice, what does it mean? When a subject, when a sentence is written in the active voice, the subject performs the action. We know about the subject. The subject is the performer of the action. You know, and in active voice, the subject will be focused, mainly focused. But in passive voice, if you talk about the passive voice, then the subject will be the receiver of the action. Subject will receive the action. And in passive voice, we'll mainly focus on the object of the object, and we'll definitely use the third form of the verb every time we talk in passive voice. What you have to keep in your mind is that we are talking about the passive voice, in which the subject will not be focused, but the object does. and the subject will be the receiver of the action. So the object will be the performer, somehow you can say that. Let's move on and talk about other things as well. Now, in tenses, we know about tenses. We have four tenses mainly that we have learned in past lectures as well. You can go and check our, playlist where you can find in my YouTube channel. You can find the full-fledged lectures on the tenses that we can learn different things were there. We have gone through from basic to advanced, and everything have been discussed were there. Now, present simple tense. After that, we have the present continuous. You can present progressive tense as well. Now, present perfect and present perfect continuous. Let's move on and talk about present simple tense. We know about present simple tense, its uses as well. What is its uses? The first one is in present tense. We usually talk about we usually make a generalization. General things will be discussed here, or a state of being, something's, and we also talk about some habits, habitual things that we usually do on daily basis, and a repeated action as well. Both of these things are actually same. The thing that you're repeatedly doing is a habit that you have got. Now, we know that in active voice, the subject will be the first thing in present simple tense. After that, we have the main verb, the first form of the verb, plus s and es in case if the subject is third person singular, or someone's name. Then we have the object. Now, how we can make the passive voice of this thing? How can we do that? I will give you example that will clear your concepts, like why we are using passive voice. Let's talk about passive voice, in which we will mainly focus on the object. So we will bring the object at the first position. So we have the object here. Now in here we have to put the helping verb, and the helping verb is actually ismr, the helping verb of the present indefinite tense is ismr in passive voice. And we talk about the verb form that will be always the third form of the object, third form of the verb, and we will use by as a preposition. Sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't. I will tell you when we won't use the by, and at the end we will use the subject. So what is the main difference? The main difference is the changing of place of the object and subject. Both of these have changed their positions, and we have got some new helping verbs, that is ismr, and after that we have the verb, that is the third form of the verb. Now let's take some examples in which you will clear your all of your problems and concepts. It is some kind of exercise. Check if you could do this. It is somehow easy to solve, but let's see. The first one is my mother loves me. My mother is the subject. Loves is the first form of the verb with s. My mother is the name of someone, third person singular. So we added s, and we have the me at the end of the um, sentence. Now, how we could do the passive voice? You have to bring back the concept that we are taking the object in the beginning and the subject at the end. How we could do that? See here, check out. Me will be changed into I. Me will be changed into I, because me is the objective form and I is the subjective case. If you want to use me in a subject, you have to use the subjective form, subjective case, and the subjective case of me is I. And after I, we have to use am. We can't use is or are. What we have to use is am. Now we know that we have used loves here, and the third form of the love is loved. Love, loved, loved. So we'll use loved. And I talk about using by after the main verb, so we'll use by here. I am loved by my mother. My mother cannot be changed because, you know, there is no, subjective or objective case of for my mother. The subject will never change in this case. Let's take the next example. He writes a letter. Letter is the object. We'll bring it in beginning as a subject, and we'll take the subject at the end. So how will we do that? A letter is, a letter is singular, so we'll use the is. And write, read, write, wrote, written. So written here by, he is the subjective case and him is the objective case of his, he. So we'll use him. A letter is written by him. Are you getting me? If you have some confusion, you can ask me in the comment section in the chat box. I will answer you. Now, last is the Sana celebrates her birthday. Sana celebrates her birthday. So her birthday is actually, Sana celebrates her birthday. Her birthday is the object, so we'll bring it in the beginning, and is will be the helping verb. Celebrate, celebrated, celebrated by Sana. I hope you're getting me. Let's move on. Let's talk about the negative examples. In the beginning, we talk about the affirmative, where we were talking about the present, the positive things. Now here we are going to discuss the negative examples of the present simple tense. Now we have both active voice and passive voice. What we will change is we will add some helping verb um, in the active voice as well and in passive voice as well. In active voice, we know that in present simple tense we have the helping verb do and does, and after that we'll add not. And here we won't add e and es at the end of the main verb if the subject is third person singular. We know about all these things. It's a beginning level thing, so we are discussing both beginner level and advanced level. If you're liking, if you're loving it, just give us a like button and share it with your friends. Do subscribe. Let's talk about the first example. Before that, you check out this, check out the formula. Subject, after that we have do this plus not plus main, first form of the main verb, and the object. The example goes like this. Rahul doesn't read Urdu. Rahul doesn't read Urdu. So some kind of negativity is being shown here. How can we change this one? So we can change it in a way that Urdu is the object, so we'll bring it in the beginning. Helping verb will be changed into is, and not will be added after that. Read is actually the verb, and we won't change read because read. So Urdu is not read by Rahul. Rahul is actually won't change because it's a name of someone, and name will never be changed. Next sentence is teachers don't punish students nowadays. It's a good thing. Teachers don't punish students nowadays. Nowadays is something that we won't change the place of this kind of things because it will be it will be stay at the end of the sentence. Actually, students is the object. This is not the actual object. So student will bring it at the beginning and the teachers will set at the end. Let's see how can we do that. Let's check it. Students are not punished by teachers nowadays. Students are plural, so we will use the are, you know about it, and then we will use not and by teachers nowadays. Let's check out if students are asking some questions or not. Let me check it first. Nobody's asking any question. Okay, that's okay. It's a good thing for me as well. Now, by teachers nowadays, that's a cool thing. Now let's talk about the third example. She doesn't like books. She doesn't like books. Now we have some problem right here. We won't add s at the end. She doesn't like books. So we'll say books are not liked by her. It's kind of simple things. I hope you're getting it. If you have some problem, let me know in the comment section so I could solve it for you. Let's move on and talk about the interrogative sentences of the present simple tense. And then we have the active voice and then we have the passive voice. In questioning forms, we'll bring the helping verb at the beginning of the sentence, and after that we'll add the subject, and then the rest of the things goes just like the same in affirmative and negative things. Now, if you're getting me right here, it is just as you know, it is what we have learned so far in the tenses lesson. But in passive voice, we have some kind of difference. We know that ism are the helping verbs, so we actually know about it. And then we have the object and the third form of the main verb and the by and the subject. So it is some kind of thing that we have learned so far. Now we have the first example. Do you play cricket? Cricket. Is cricket played by you? Is will be the helping verb, in place of do. And then we have cricket in place of you, and then play it, the third form of the play, and by will be the thing, and you will still be you. You won't be changed. Now, does she wash your clothes? Does she wash? Actually, we have missed the H. Does she wash your clothes? Okay, let me do it first. If let's check if I could do this. Um, are your clothes washed by her? Let's see if I did it. Are your clothes washed by her? Yeah, this is what I have done. It's actually, hey, I'm the teacher. I can do this. Okay, do you give foods to the beggar? Let's see. Is food given to the beggar by you? Here in this case, the object, this thing is actually understood. If you don't add this thing, the sentence will still be correct, because if someone is asking you the question that is food given to the beggar, is the food given to the beggar? Now we have foods actually, so we'll use are. Are foods given to the beggars? In this case, the person is asking to you, so you don't have to use by you. They want to say like, is the food given to the beggar? So they're asking you. It means you are being, asked. So you don't have to add by you at the end. But actually, if you do so, there is no problem at all. Now let's talk about the double interrogative sentences. You know about double interrogative sentences? We use the WH question after the helping verb, after the main helping verb. So hopefully, I hope you're getting me. If you have some problem, let me know. Actually, no one is right here. Double interrogative, we have WH question in the beginning, and after that the rest goes like this. Now we have WH question in the passive voice as well, and the rest is just the same that we have learned so far. The question is, why do you play cricket? Why is the only thing that we have added in double interrogative sentences. Now here, why will stay as why won't change, but the helping verb that is actually the helping of the present simple tense will be changed into is, am, are. So why is cricket played by you? Why is cricket played by you? Now the last thing is that, why do you give foods to the beggar? Why do you give foods to the beggar? Why is food given to the beggar by you? Why is food given to the beggar? You have to give a proper answer in double interrogative questions, sentences. But in case of simple interrogative sentences, what you can simply answer with yes and no. Let's check it. Let's remove um, why, and let's check. Do you play cricket? Yes. Do you play cricket? No. Let's add it and check it out. Why do you give foods to the beggar? Because the beggar was starving. I just have to do it. Just check it by removing the why. Do you give foods to the beggar? Yes, I did. Simply. This is the difference between double interrogative and the simple interrogative. Now let's move on to the present continuous tense. Check out the affirmative. You know about present continuous tense, we're using it uh, to describe an ongoing activity or some kind of temporary actions in the present. Let's check out the affirmative means the positive sentences, positive version of the present continuous tense The active voice will be subject plus ismr plus main form of the verb, that is the plus fourth form of the verb, ing form of the verb, and the object. But if you want to change it into the passive voice, it goes like this. The passive voice is actually the object as per we have learned so far. Ismr will be the same helping verb, we won't change it, but we will add something, that is the being after the helping verb. Third form will stay like this. Third form will go be in all of the cases in passive voice, by and then the subject. I hope you're getting me. Okay, let's move on and talk about some examples. She is calling you. She's calling you. You are being called by her. Okay, the first example is here. Ali is playing cricket. Okay, cricket is being played by Ali. Ali is playing cricket. The action was ongoing, so we said the cricket is being played by Ali. She's calling you. You are being called by her. You are being called by her. You getting me? If the sentence is in present continuous tense, what you actually doing is you're adding being, and you're doing nothing with the rest of the sentences. What you are doing is what we have learned so far. You're changing the place of the subject and object, and rechanging the position, and then you're doing so what we have learned here. Third one is, okay, there's no third question. Now we're going to have the negative examples of the present continuous tense. Tell me if I'm audible or not. If there's problem with the voice, I will be in problem. Just let me know. Okay, there's no problem. We have the subject plus ismr plus not. We usually do with the negative examples. Not is mandatory and crucial to be sustainable in negative examples. Not, and then the main form of the verb, that is the fourth form, and the object. But here object will be the first thing, and then we'll have ismr plus not plus being plus main form, third form of the verb, and the subject. Let's take some example. He is not beating a jazz. He is not beating a jazz. It's a present continuous negative version, so let's see how I'm doing it. Ajaz is not beaten by him. Actually, we are not adding being here. I'm confused. Okay, actually, maybe Ajaz is not beaten by him. Ajaz is not being beaten by him. What do you think? We don't have to add being here. Let's see with other things as well. We have to add. Ajaz is not beaten. Ajaz is not being beaten. Yeah, we have some problem. You have to be sharp enough to find problems in writing as well. Ajaz is not beaten by him. She is not calling you. You are not being called by her. It is somehow simple. What you have to keep in mind, that in negative we are putting the negative in between of the both of the helping verbs, ismr and the being, between of both of these things. Now let's move on and talk about the interrogative sentences. The active voice will go in this way: ismr plus subject plus main form of the verb, ing form of the verb, and the object. Last but not least, the question mark. Question mark is actually important. If you miss the question mark, then your sentence will never be an interrogative. Even you have followed each and every rule, you have did all these things, but you didn't put the helping verb, it won't be a question. In passive voice, ismr will go like this, and then the object, and then the being, and then the being, then the third form of the verb, and by subject at the end. Let's take some example. Are you teaching the students? Actually, I'm teaching the students. I don't have majority of the students right here, but still I'm teaching them. I'm a teacher and I'm doing so. Let's check it out How could we do this? Are the teachers, are the students being taught by you? You can change teach to taught, T-A-U-G-S-T, taught. All the students being taught by you. Definitely I'm teaching them. Is she washing your clothes? Is your clothes being washed by her? Is your clothes being washed by her? Yeah. Let's move on and talk about the double negative sentences. We have the active voice as WH question and the rest goes just like before. And then we have the passive voice, WH questions at the end. Each and everything is just the same interrogative. Let's take some example. Why are you not celebrating her birthday? Why is your birthday is being celebrated by you? Okay, let me check it again. Why are you not? Then the answer should be something else. Why are your birthday? Why is your birthday is not being celebrated by you? Why is her birthday? Her. Yeah, we have to keep all these things in mind. If we have done some mistakes, we have to, you know, we have to correct it. Nobody will come and correct it for you. You have to do it for yourself. I personally did it. I made something incorrect in my writing, and then each and everything so that we could correct it. You could realize it that we had some kind of mistakes in our writing. In this case, you will learn more and more, and you don't have to give more attention. Like some things like this will stay in your mind for longer period of time, and this is all about your subconscious mind and how you take things in your mind. Now let's move on and talk about the present perfect tense. Let's talk about the present perfect tense. I will give you the uses first. Present perfect tense will be used to describe an action occurring in the past but relevant to the present. Action that were occurring in the past and still, you know, relevant to the present. Maybe it is still applicable, and if maybe the action has recently done by someone or extending to the present, maybe it has been relevanted, or you can say that the action has just finished and just finished. You can also say that it is still working, extending to the present. Talking about the affirmative, we have the active voice as subject, has, have, as the helping verb, and the main form of the verb, that is the third form of the verb, and then the object. And the next thing is that we will talk about the passive voice. Enunciating about it, object will be the first thing, has, have will stay as the helping verb. The thing that we are adding here is been. Been will be the case. Third form will be third form as per inactive voice. By subject will be at the end. Let's take some examples. She has completed the work. She has completed the work. The work has been completed by her. Oh, we had some mistake. Her. The work has been completed by her. She has sung a song. A song has been sung by her. Sung by her. A song has been sung by her. Okay. Before moving to the negative, give me an example. Okay, I will do an example for this line. Okay. Students are studying voices. Students are studying. Okay, we had some. Student has studied voices. How could we change it? Voices have been studied by students. By students. Yeah, this is what we could give personal examples as well. Now let's talk about the negative examples. Negative examples will, we'll just add not, just of the subject and the helping verbs, has, have, then the third form of the main verb and the object. In passive voice, we'll place the object first, has, have, and then not between has, have, and been, and then the third form of the verb and the object. Let's give some example, take some example. He has not beaten Ejaz. Ejaz has not been beaten by him. Ejaz has not been beaten by him. Ejaz is my friend, so I'm using him mostly in my sentences because I just want to make my examples realistic. I just want to relate it with my surroundings, with my friends, with my family members, so I could keep it, so I could remember it whenever I have to use it in some cases. Let's move on and talk about the interrogative sentences. In interrogative, we have some problem right here. I'm so sorry for that. We won't use ismr, we'll use has and have as the helping verb, and then the subject, then the third form of the main verb, and then the object, and the question at the end. And here we'll use has, have, and been, and the third form of the verb, and all these things are just the same. We have example. Have you killed the snake? Have you killed the snake? Has the snake killed by you? If you did so, I appreciate you. If you done so, I appreciate you. Okay, move on. Talking about the double interrogative sentences, we have WH word, WH questions, and the rest is just like this. We have again problem, third form of the verb, and then the object. Then we have WH question, and in general everything is just the correct here. Why have they not completed the project? Why have they not completed the project? This is acceptable. Double interrogative question will goes like this, but it's okay if you add not. Why has the project not completed by her? Why has the project not been? You didn't have to miss these things. I personally occasionally did to correct it in the lecture, and you could change it. You could do this. You could also do this. I hope you didn't notice it, but I noticed it. You also have to get the level to notice the mistakes in someone's writing, and then you can say that you have learned something about the tenses. Now we have two students. Please let me know if I'm audible to all of you, if my voice is actually audible, and let me know if it is there is some kind of problem, questions, and suggestions, everything I could accept. Okay, moving on to the next thing. We have past simple tense. We have done with the present tenses. Now we have the past. We don't have much things in past tenses, so we'll move faster than before. So why we are doing all these things? Because we needed to speak. We needed to speak in different situations. When you want to talk in a different way, you have to use the passive voice, and to be able to speak in a passive voice, you have to learn the rules first. And what we are doing, we are teaching the rules for you for free. Let's talk about the affirmative of, before affirmative, let's talk about the uses first. Past simple will be used to indicate a general or habitual action occurring in the past. You had some kind of habits, or you are doing some action in repeatedly in past, but you are not doing so in the present. It means that it is a past action. You will use the past simple for it, or the specific time in the past as well. Whenever you have to narrate something, a story or something like that, you just have to use the past simple tense. Okay, because this time is not specific at all. So affirmative is actually the first thing we are going to talk about. We'll also talk about negative and the interrogative as well. Firstly, the subject and the second form of the verb and the object. And in passive voice, we will have the object first, and will be will be the helping verb, and the main third form will be the main verb, and the by subject will be what we have learned so far. And in negative, we'll have subject and did plus not, as did will be the helping verb right here, and the first form of the verb and object. Why we are using the first form of the did? Because did is actually in past, and we don't use two past verbs in the single sentence. So did is in past, so we'll use the first in the present form of the main verb. And in passive voice, we will have the object first, then was were, and then we have the third form of the main verb, and then the subject. Moving on to interrogative, we'll have did, and after that the subject, then the first form of the main verb and the object. But in passive voice, we'll have the object first. No, we'll have the questions, means the helping verb first, was were, and object after that, and the third form of the main verb, and the subject and by. In case of double interrogative, we'll have WH in the beginning of both of these voices. Present means active and the passive voices. Let's take some example to clear the concept, because practice makes a man perfect. The more you'll sweat in practice, the less you will bleed in the war. This is all about practice. Let's take some example. India win the actually India won. India won the match. India won the match in past simple. India is the subject. Won is the second form of the main verb, and the match is the object. But you want to change it into passive voice. As per the rule, we will take this object to the as a subject and the subject at the end, because the object will be focused. Now, the match was won by India. This is somehow simple. The match was won by India. Next thing is that Ali plucked ed. Plucked. So Ali plucked the flower. The flowers was plucked by Ali. He didn't call you. He didn't call you. So what we'll do is you were not called by him. You were not called by him. Did you give the books? Did you give the books to him? Was he given books by you? Was he given books by you? Now let's talk about past continuous tense. And the first thing about past continuous is, some action. This is a mistake that we have done right here. I will tell you how we will use past continuous. Some action that started in past and also ended in past. An action that started in past and it is now ended, and you can say that the action is still ongoing in the present. It has been ended. So in this case, you will use the past continuous tense. Let's take some examples to clear your concept in a better way. Active voice, the subject will be at the beginning, and was were, and the fourth form of the main verb, ing form of the main verb, and then the object. You know about past continuous, in every continuous tense we'll use ing form. And in passive voice, we will give the object one more scope and bring it at the beginning, and was were will still be an object, as a helping verb, and then we have the being, and then third form of the verb, and then the subject. In case of negative, we'll have the subject, was, were, and not, and then the main verb, ing form of the verb, fourth form of the verb, and then the object. But in case of passive voice, we have the object first, was, were, and then the not, plus being, third form of the main verb, and then by subject. In interrogative, we have was, were, plus subject, main form of the verb, that is the ing form again, and then object plus question mark. In case of passive voice, we have was, were in the beginning and the object after that, then we have being, then we have third form of the main verb, then at the end we'll use by subject. Diving into some of the examples of past continuous tense, first thing is the children were eating the chocolate. The children were eating the chocolate. Here I gave you the uses of the past continuous tense. The action was continuous in the past and also ended in the past. So the children were eating and they have done it in past, not in present. So we are using past continuous for it. And the passive voice will be the chocolate was being eaten by the children. By the children. The children came to here. I just, vanished it. Next example, you were driving a car. You were driving a car. A car was being driven by you. Ali was not plucking the flowers. Ali was not plucking the flowers. So the flowers were not being plucked by Ali. I was not taking lunch. Lunch was not being taken by me. Lunch was not taken by me. Me, because it is the objective case of I, and everything is just the same we have discussed earlier. Was he helping you? This example is not fitting. Yeah, actually it is fitting. Was he helping you? The interrogative version. Was he helping you? Were you being helped? Were you being helped by him? In passive voice. Moving on to past perfect tense, we have the uses first. Used to indicate an action completed prior to particular time or before another in the past. It has been ended, started as well as ended in past, but this was not a continuous action. Let's take some example. Before example, let me give you the construction first. The first thing about the active voice is this subject will be the first thing. Okay, my pen. Had will be the helping verb. The past form of has and have is had. So we will use had in past perfect tense. The third form, as per in perfect tenses, in all perfect tenses, we are gonna use past, the third form of the verb and then the object. Passive voice will be the object will be the first thing as per we have learned foregoing activities, lessons. Had been will always be a helping verb. There will be no changes. Third form of the verb will be as usual and then by subject. And in negative, we have subject, had not, main verb plus object. And we can change it with object. We will use not between had and been, then the third form of the verb and the main and the by subject. In interrogative, had will be in the beginning, then we have subject, then we have the main verb, third form actually, and the object, then the question mark. In passive voice, had will still be in the beginning, then the object in place of subject, and been after the object, third form, and by subject. And in WH, double interrogative questions, we will use WH here in the beginning before the helping verb. Let's take some example to make it more clearer as clear. Some examples for the active voice of the past perfect tense goes like this. He had sung a song. A song had been sung by him. You had driven a car. A car had been driven by you. We had not read the book. The book had not been read by us. They had not written a letter. A letter had not been written by them. By them. Had I helped you? Had you been helped by me? Had you been helped by me? I, and the objective case is me. Last question is, had she made a picnic plan? Had she made a picnic plan? Had a picnic plan been made by her? Had a picnic plan been made by her? Now we have done with past tenses. I hope you're getting each and everything I have taught to you so far. If you have some question and confusion, please don't hesitate to ask me in the chat box. I'm here to answer each and every question. In future simple tense, we will use the future to indicate an action. In future simple, we'll use to indicate an action that is expected to take place at a future time, in a future time. And this is actually we'll use future simple to predict something as well, to make a prediction. In active voice, we'll have the subject and the helping verb will be will and shall. Shall is not that much common right now. We usually use will with each and everything in this, and it is not incorrect. And then the first form of the main verb and then the object. Then we have the passive voice in object first, shall or will be, shall be and will be, and then the by subject at the end, third form of the verb as usual in future as well. Now we have before negative we have active voice and then the passive voice. The children will eat the chocolate. So we can change it. The chocolate will be eaten by the children. Next example, he will teach us. He will teach us English. English will be taught by him. He will teach English. English will be taught by him. Yeah. You will sing a song. A song will be sung by you. Negative sentence, we will only use not after will and shall. And here we'll use not as usual. He will not help me. I shall not be helped by him. He will not receive the letter. The letter will not be received by him. Moving on to the future simple tense as a negative, and not negative, actually interrogative. We have will and shall in the beginning, and then we have the subject and the main verb, and then we have will and shall, the third form of the verb, and then the subject. Take some examples. Shall we take tea? Will tea be taken by us? We are using shall with I and we. So we have we right here, so we're using shall here as per the rules. But it is not necessary or mandatory. You can use will as well. Will tea be taken by us? And then will you write? Will you write? Will be written by you. It's a bit, this is not usual. Will you write a letter? So the letter will the letter be written by you? Somehow we can see that, but this is not in a formal sentence. Now we don't have passive voice of the future continuous, so we only have the perfect continuous. Why we are using perfect continuous? To indicate a future action expected to be completed before another future action or time. Something that will happen in future, you're gonna talk about it, and the action will be completed before another action starting, before the start, initiative of another action. How could we make the formatted version? Active voice, will, shall plus have, third form of the verb, and then the object. And in passive voice, we'll have the object, and then will, shall plus have, had been, third form of the main verb by object, by subject actually, sorry for that. Now we have some examples. Active voice, he will have received the letter. In future, a letter will be received by someone. The letter will have been received by him. Will have been received by him. He will he will have taught English. English will have been taught by him. Now in negative, we'll only use not right here. He will not receive the letter. The letter will not be received by him. And in interrogative sentences, will he have received the letter? Will the letter have been received by him? Now we have done with the all of the active voice and passive voices. I hope you have learned so far. I hope you have learned each and everything that you require to be one of the master level skilled in voices, in active and passive voices. Now you can use both of these voices as per you want. It was an extraction of some 5 to 10 lectures, as well as some books as well. Those lectures goes longer than 1 to 2 hours, but right here we have done it in just 50 to 60 minutes. So I couldn't explain each and everything in a way more detail, but I hope you have learned each and everything. I have made some shortcuts as well. I hope you have learned. So I have some request, that is, as usual, I will ask for a subscription. Subscribe, because if I don't ask, you are not gonna do this. Subscribe, like, this is mandatory. You have to do this because you have learned from us. Give our rights back. Comment and ask your questions. Appreciate us as well. It will be an inspiration for us. And don't forget to share it with your friends. And we will meet in another lecture in which we'll learn about another thing that is actually important in English as well. So right now, I just want to say goodbye. Before that, I will check out the messages if there is any. There is no message. No one has placed any questions. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching and learning with us. Making me able to teach you. Thank you so much, and we'll meet in the next session. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.